Taking forever to get the thing done. All right, people, how we doing out there? First things first. My name's Kenneth Bird. We're doing a little segment we do on our YouTube channel called Cardboard PC Kingdom. Let me see. Drag it down a little bit. There we go. I'm going to drag it too much. I didn't get a heavier stand or something. So basically, I had to go in and do the corrosion job, which gave it a little more roughness to the corners and everything. And then I have to go back over top of it and paint it all black. And then we apply the neon. But before we can do that, we have to coat it black. I'm busy out with family and friends today. And as you can see, my Eagles are winning, so that's good to know. So I'm happy about that. So, guess we're gonna have to grease the poles in Philly. Those who don't know, we climb poles in Philly. So. I pretty much did most of it already off camera to get that all ready. I'm also happy about soon my new projector, which I got myself a nice Christmas projector at $63. Still trying to figure what's going with that ViewSonic, but if it doesn't pop up, we'll just buy another one. We'll buy something else. So this is one of the steps needed to make corrosion, depending on what type of PC you're building. This one's going to be more of a kind of a neon corrosion setting. I have to go over and pick up my LED lights from Amazon today. Got special LED lights on for this thing. Now, at first, I was thinking about doing the garage and putting a hard drive in the garage. But I think now I'm going to basically pick up an M2 stick. I'm going to grab myself a solid state drive, hard drive. That's what I'm going to be picking up. And just skip the garage altogether. I'll put something pretty cool there anyway. My garage. Now my family's over there having a Super Bowl party. And I was already there. I was there already. And watched the game. So yeah. Eagles are winning, so, and they're pretty far up. They have that 24-0, so, yep, there's that. So, Philly's gonna get a Super Bowl, and my team wins, and I got a whole lot of people to call, especially Dallas fans. I got a lot of Dallas fans in my family, and I'm planning to reach out to them as soon as the game ends. Always some friends. Got some friends that are huge Dallas fans. Because they made the claim that they were going to go to the Super Bowl. And I was like, nope. Not going to happen. But hey. I better order my ice cubes to get that thing finished and done. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on my prototype for my on-site. That's what I'm going to do. I first want to build my screen first. do the bottom half of this. That's no bottom half. I'm gonna stick to anywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna look up getting a. Let me see. To 3 terabytes of M2 solid state drive. Three terabytes of solid state drive. Drop a, let's see, it has a mini PCI Express. I can put the slot in for that. It's 2 terabytes for $139. I get myself one of those PCI slots. PCI Express slot for multiple terabyte solid state? No. PCI Express slot for multiple M2 slots. There we go. This is what I need. 23 bucks. Perfect. Alright. That'll allow me to be able to run multiple versions of multiple ones instead of me going out and spending $400 or $500 or a couple of grand, probably about $400 or $500 for 4 terabytes. I can break it down to 2 terabytes for each slot. So that and 2 terabytes is like $100-something bucks. They make these for PCI. Mini ports. All right, cool. That's 2 terabytes for each slot. So that's roughly, I can do at 4 slots. That's around 8 terabytes, including the terabyte I have will be in the system, which will be another 2. Additionally, that'll be 1,000 terabytes. Yeah, it's about, let's see, 2 gigs. Oh yeah, that'll be let me see. No, I'm sorry. Maybe 10 gig. No, 5. Let me add this correctly. Let me make sure I get this right. 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes. It's not 100. It's 2 terabytes. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10 terabytes of hard drive space. Oops, sorry about that. Calculation was way up on that. So I get 10 terabytes of hard drive space. That's what I'll have. Gee, that's more than enough. Happy with that. And it'll all be solid state. Because I got that output. I don't know why they make the motherboards with only one output for one solid state. They probably got one out there. Probably do. Probably a little more expensive, but that's all they have. It's just the one. But I can do multiple ones because I can actually override the board. And that's what I'm going to do. Alright. Cool. Because I'm going to need that space for my equipment. Because if people will be sitting there saying, well, you're getting all that for gaming? No, that machine's going to run multiple applications or programs, not just for basically for gaming. It's for a lot of things it's going to be designed for. I got advanced projector mapping hardware I just picked up on buying and bringing in. And it takes a lot of freaking memory, a ton of it. So 128 gigabytes is going to be more than enough for me to run it. But let's see what all the other stuff we have on there. If worse comes to worse, then I'll just switch out with a board with a terabyte of RAM. But I'm not building that thing for gaming. I'm building it to run my applications I'm going to need. I'm not going to sit there and say that it'll run circles around a console system because there won't be any console system. You'll be switching to PC, that's why. There's just no point. No point making another console system if you're actually giving out your games. There's just no point. Well, if they're smart about it, and you know, you got some people that don't want to go to PC, and you really don't want to go to PC. They're happy at console where they're at. They'll just continue to support that system right there by just making you pay for the online subscription. Because I like my PS4. I want to continue to play my PS4. And if they stop making any more systems, they're just supporting the online support for the games. Yeah, I'll continue to pay for my online support for my PS4. No problem. I mean, they'll stop games with that particular application, yeah. Would you need anything higher than that? No, I don't know why you would need anything higher than that. But then you have a problem too. Your hardware can't be upgraded at will. That's the problem. If the games do advance much higher than what they are, that means your hardware will soon outdate. And if your hardware outdates and you have no way to actually swap it out or repair it or fix it or update it, you're stuck. Which means that's another problem too. I didn't think of. Somebody actually brought that up on a forum site. We were talking about the maybe the end of console. Well, not technically not the end of console, because maybe the end of this era of consoles, Xbox and the PlayStation. But for the Nintendo Switch, and if Apple does come up with a game system, then guess what? It continues on. And then you're going to see people going to see the market open up, so give them the option to go in and develop systems, different kinds of systems, like you had with the FM Marty, and you had with the ColecoVision, because the main systems were Atari at the time. So you can see a lot of new systems pop up. TurboGrafx 16, Panasonic 3DO, CDI. See stuff like that pop up, but not in that particular category. Just different machines that just popped up because everybody was filling out that particular market. Even though the two people who had it down packed was basically Sega and NES had it down packed. They've been doing it for years. But anyway, so I got people saying, well, console's not, will you tell me how the future of console is going to exist if your exclusive games aren't on your system? How do you exist? That's to make your system your exclusives. So if the system's going third party and they're passing all their games to everybody else, again, they don't have exclusives anymore. And as I said before, if they continue to support the online service, if they're able to go in and upgrade the firmware, whether to make the games better, that works. I mean, you can still keep your system. But sooner or later, parts are going to go obsolete. They're going to go old. And I mean, they're not going to make any new consoles, and what are you stuck with? Like the Dreamcast. Do you see any more systems besides Dreamcast? No, it's just Dreamcast. The last console they made was the Dreamcast. They stopped making it. So if they decide that, hey, look, we're making plenty of money off third party, putting our games up there on other platforms, we don't really have to have the servers anymore. That means the server goes down on my end, it goes down on your end, and guess what? You can't just really play your games or go to the store and buy stuff and all that stuff to play your games offline. Because I do it all the time on my console system. They were doing some maintenance and then I was playing games offline. So, yeah. And then people are sitting there arguing like, no, that's not going to be the end of console. Oh my goodness, you don't get it. You're freaking out your exclusives. That's what makes your system. Boy, I swear. This is what happens when you get noobs that come in and don't know jack about gaming, haven't been around long enough to sit in line and actually buy an N64. These are the ones that will come in and have these conversations about, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh my goodness, man. Let me ask you a question. You ever had an FM Town Marty? You even know what it is? You know, sit back and sit there, don't know what I'm talking about. What's an FM Town Marty? You know what a Pippin is? You ever had one of those before? What about Nomad? You ever had one of those before? You don't know what those are you? Alright then, there you go. Tells you ain't been around long. You ever had the TurboGrafx 16 with the CD-ROM? You ever had one of them? What about the Genesis system with the 32X and CD-ROM connected? The Genesis 2. Or Genesis 1, not the Genesis 2. You had one of those? Sega Master System? With the light gun that came along with it? No. Some of the people have had all that stuff already. But the thing about it is, as I said before, the only console system that survived that era of consoles was basically Nintendo. Because Sega went under. Those are the only two ones you had at the particular time. Atari was reigning supreme at one particular point, but Atari lost when it won against Nintendo because Atari thought it had a massive library and thought people would still buy their games because they had a great collection, but the Nintendo's graphics were far better and people leaned toward the Nintendo, and the Atari lost on that bet. Then they came with the Atari Jaguar, whopping 64-bit. At the end of the day, didn't last that long. It fizzled out when Nintendo came in with the 64. And look at that, became epic. It was just time for them to give it up. And that's what they did. That's why I ain't hear about Atari no more. They gave it up. I was shocked to see Sega go out. I was really shocked on that. Really, really shocked. Because Dreamcast was way before its time. It was. I had both versions of the Dreamcast version. The first one that came out was the Japanese one. It came in an orange box with the white spiral. And then the American version came out with the white box and the red spiral. If you had Dreamcast when it first came out, that was a great time to be a gamer. My first game was Power Stone. I never seen anything like it. Power Stone! The music was freaking epic on Power Stone. It looks like Smash Brothers on freaking steroids. That's why I like playing a game called My Hero. It reminds me of that game. If you ever had the pleasure of playing Bond on N64 on a 4-player split screen, you know what I'm talking about. You can play Bond for hours, man. Especially the multiplayer. The game was okay, but the multiplayer was freaking epic. Best way to basically trash your friends and talk trash at the same time was Bond. You know, the game had trash talking online, except for like Bond. Bond was so freaking hilarious on so many levels. Proximity mines and the freaking stack. You can load it with nothing but rocket launchers or the golden gun if you can find it. I love freaking Bond. Or if you was good enough, you get that epic Kung Fu chop. That was embarrassing. I might sneak behind you and pop you with that. You just have to unplug your controller and just leave. That's too embarrassing. Take that kind of pain. They had one game, Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark was fantastic. If you got somebody with a melee, you hit them, everything goes blurry. When you punch them in the face, everything goes blurry. Freaking hilarious. If you got with that melee, that hit. Yep. If you was around in the PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, the light gun era, where you remember Time Crisis, which was freaking amazing. It wasn't the original arcade version had this pedal that you had to step on to reload. And then Sega Saturn, they came up with Virtual Cop, which is another fantastic game. And then Dreamcast came with House of the Dead, which was another amazing freaking game. If you had House of the Dead, it was freaking epic. That was another great game to play. I think that's one, at that particular time, this is when gaming was fun. It was at its best. It was freaking, it was amazing. It was amazing, man. First time getting Mario on your NES system. And then they came with the Super NES with Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong's graphics were freaking amazing for a system. Like, they were really beautiful graphics. If you had the Donkey Kong bongos, I still have my bongos. This is where you got to beat the drums in order to basically control the monkey at the end of the day. It's freaking hilarious. Yep. Got a chance to play all those good games. People like the 3DO and the CDI because they showed real actual like videos, like the cutscenes were real actual movie videos, like Night Traps. If you had that one, I actually got banned, by the way, because they were showing nudity and they were like, nope, can't have that one on there. So they got rid of that one. They did have it, but you know, you just had to show that ID to get it. And then you had Soul Shark, which is actually pretty good. That came with the CD-ROM. Best Sonic I've ever played was Sonic CD. It was amazing because the freaking clarity of CD was so freaking crisp, unlike cartridge ever. I remember watching Eggman, and I was under the ocean floor, and you can literally hear the echo of him coming down. Unforgettable. Unforgettable. Yep. And of course, those here in the Final Fantasy, you do know the Final Fantasy is a PS1. You know that from before. Or Metal Gear Solid. Everybody was playing that game. We had to hide behind boxes and smoke cigarettes and all that stuff in the game. You had Need for Speed. That was my favorite, was Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. The trailer on there was absolutely epic. You see that Mercedes come around the corner burning. You see the smoke coming behind the wheels, and you see the Mercedes come up and just take off. Oh man, that game was beautiful. And if you knew the code called Rocket, you had that car that cops couldn't even catch. Pull over! Pull over! Now! I used to love that so much. I had, for my Need for Speed setup, I had the Mad Cat steering wheel, and I had a red and blue flashing lights when I played that game. I got into that game big time. Yep. That was a great time. You had the arcade. You had consoles out. Man, best time. And now today, well, whoop-de-doo. I guess the arcade experience and the console experience isn't the same. Now, for those people who were running around when the arcade was popular, you don't understand the console you have today is not really console. You don't really have console. I don't know what it is, but that's not console. Nope. That is not even console. Console for me would be the cartridges. You know, you go to the game store, got the pretty back cover, explains everything, you pick it up, you read through it, you buy it in the car, probably going home, either way you're going home, you pop it open, pull out that manual and read all through all the cool stuff you're going to be able to do with that game. There's no feeling like that. At the end of the day, of having that paperback manual in your hand and reading it, and look at all the cool stuff, all the different controls you can do, different areas you can explore, enemies you'll have to face, nothing like it. It's not the same. They modernized it too much. They did. I remember when I turned around, you found out Twitter was coming to a console system. Like, what the freak are we doing with Twitter on a console system? Now, with the 360, when they did the what's it? 360 did it? No. 360 had it. 360 had it with the avatars, Netflix. I thought that was pretty cool. Because if you had an avatar, all your avatars can get together in a movie theater and watch Netflix on this big screen. That was cool. Because I thought that was a pretty cool app. All your friends could all get together and they could all watch a movie. Your avatars are made to play around. Now, as for the PlayStation version, the PlayStation 4 with the VR glasses, if you did Netflix and the VR setup, they don't have it anymore. But when they had it, oh my goodness, it was freaking amazing. You can watch your Netflix on a high-rise condo. You can watch it out on the beach. You can watch it in a haunted house. There's all kinds of cool stuff how they set the VR. How you can go in and just watch your movies and stuff. And you can invite your friends in too. Which I thought was pretty cool. And they had the whole VR. On the beach was pretty cool too. You have to have, with VR, you have to have the ability to move all the way around. You have to. Because, again, the data cable does not work. That's why people want to take the data cable and hook it up to a loop screw in the ceiling with a swivel on it. So when they move around, it goes around with them. Because you're in VR, if you're watching, you can literally turn all the way around and you can see stuff all the way around you. If you're being chased by something, there is stuff behind you. Turn on, you'll see them coming at you, and you got to run or turn around real quick. So that's what I thought was cool about VR. Like the Oculus Quest system has this gunfighting game. You literally have to dive behind stuff in order to keep from getting shot. I thought it was pretty cool. Well, so you know why the Quest blew up? The Quest blew up because of COVID. That's why the Quest blew up. If you were in COVID when you had the Quest, I was. So, and a lot of people couldn't get out, were on those units. And these are people that were in homes. Some people were in homes where they didn't have any family, no friends, or nothing. It was just them by themselves. When you throw this VR on, you can go to anyone, talk to anybody you want. People in clubs, they fish together, have fun. That was cool about the whole online experience with the Quest 2. Because you got a chance to meet a whole lot of people from different places when you were trapped in the house and couldn't go anywhere. It was very, very extremely popular. You know, pretty cool. I'm going to buy an Apple gaming PC when it comes out. You know why? I want to experience that. I've been blessed to live. We were born in 1968 and to play all the game systems from that particular era to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and so on. And my mother was a tech junkie. She liked technology. She always brought us home something. Every time we turn around, something. The ColecoVision, Atari 2600, Atari 5600. Was it 5600? It was 5600, that one. That one, we even had Atom. That was a big, big system. It was pretty nice because it had a printer, all this stuff. We'd do homework on it and all. So it was pretty cool to have. I had one of those too. We had a Vectrex. That's the giant tabletop that was in black and white, and you had these little color screens to put up there to make it turn color. Had these little tiny square controllers, looking like the controllers for the first NES. It kind of looked like that. Put our paint on here extra for that. So for me, when people talk about console, that's console for me. That's why on my PC I play a lot of retro old games, because that's my era. That's where I come from. So when people sit there and say, "Oh, you got old parts," no, they're the parts needed and requirements, all that I need to run my retro games, because I come from that era. That's what I like to play. You guys want to play these high-tech games, that's y'all from your era. But I like the old school games, that's my thing. The beat 'em up, the hack and slash, stuff like that, Super Contra, stuff like that, games you find on emulators and stuff like that, that's my era. You know, once in a while I can get into a game, but I'd rather be playing pinball or something like that. That's me, or Pac-Man. Defender, Space Invaders, Centipede with the roller controller. Wish they bring back up the roller. That's pretty nice. That's my era. Dreamcast was pretty cool. Dreamcast was before its time. Dreamcast was like what you have now today. Except for y'all have better graphics and stuff. But the Dreamcast had online. You would get if you subscribed to Dreamcast magazine, you would get these browsers, and the browsers would have updates for your browser. Like sometimes they'll have JavaScript, stuff like that in there, that you can actually go in there and watch movies and stuff like that off your Dreamcast. But Dreamcast was actually before its time. Got a chance to go online. There's a ton of chat rooms on there. A lot of chat rooms. You got a chance to talk to other gamers and stuff like that. You know, tons of updates. It was called, it was Dreamcast. The whole thing, the Sega thing they had. It's pretty cool. I liked it. Really did. And then that screen, the intro, the way it would come on. Even when someone mentions that intro, you can hear that sound, that woo, when it come on. Xbox had a pretty cool one too when it came on. I liked the Xbox, the first one. I remember buying that thing too. I remember getting it. I remember going out and buying my first Xbox, and my first game was Halo. It was the first game I got. The guy who I bought it from, a store I went from, he said, "You got to get this. It's very popular." It's a popular game. He probably chose Halo, and he was not lying. That game was every bit amazing on so many levels. But yeah, this was my first game, was Halo. And then I got the Dead or Alive series. Oh my goodness, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, that was another one I liked. Ninja Gaiden got my butt kicked in that game. Sega Rally, all those games, yeah. No, I'm thinking of a Dreamcast now. Oh, wait a minute. Dead or Alive was on Saturn. They had Dead or Alive on Saturn. I remember that for a fact. Because the anniversary version has all of them in there from different ones, from the Dreamcast and so forth. It was on PlayStation too, believe it or not. Yep, way back in the day, it was on PlayStation. I even have a copy of that too. It was on PlayStation. For some reason, they stopped porting Team Ninja. I think it is. They stopped porting it over to them. Yep. Now, the exclusives? Well, super exclusives? Well, you know, if you knew anything, you would know. I'm going to say you don't know anything, but at one point, GTA was never, ever available on your Xbox system. Never. I got people coming to me about, no, it was always on Xbox. No, it wasn't. It was exclusively for PlayStation. Only. Because I remember when they brought it to Xbox. I still got mine. I still got mine in the box. With everything with it in mint condition. It was a double-sided box. I had one with GTA 3 and one with Vice City in it. I still got mine. I'm going to dig mine up and bring it over. Yep, I still have mine. And I remember when they announced in the magazine, my Xbox magazine, that Grand Theft Auto was coming to Xbox. Oh my goodness. Because it was only available on the PlayStation. That's it. One point it was exclusive for PlayStation, which was kind of odd too, because it was on the Genesis system too. On top of that, before it actually came to PlayStation. Yep. Yes, sirree, buddy. Yes, sirree. And then you had games that were trying to do VR. They tried so bad to do VR back then. It wasn't a very good attempt. But then they came with the Virtual Boy. Biggest disappointment in life. I swear that was the worst virtual gaming system ever. Because if you saw the commercials for it, the commercials were all in color. They're all in these beautiful, beautiful, amazing colors. And then you put that in, you would have the same infrared reading as a Terminator. Because everything would be black and red in there. It was awful. Downright awful. It was another failed freaking... the Game Glove. That was horrible. The Game Glove was really bad. It worked in certain games, but most of the time, it just didn't work at all, period. Nintendo Game Glove was horrible. In certain games, it did work. But most of the time, you were just all over the place. Like, it just could not read correctly. Track and field was actually on point. I had track and field. That was fun, because you could run with your brothers and kick them to the side, knock them off. You know what I mean? Do dirty stuff like that to them. And they get ticked off and scream like, "My, kick me off the machine!" Yeah. Wrestling, N64. N64 had it down packed when it came to wrestling. They had it down packed when it came to wrestling. N64. So, all those systems, when you had Jaguar had exclusive games only found on Jaguar. You had 3DO, only had games made for their system. You can only play those games on their system only. You had Neo Geo. Of course, you can only play Neo Geo on Neo Geo games. Of course, those are huge. You're going to fit that in your port at all, period. All those games had exclusive games just for them and their special library. Their games only. So, the minute everything went digital, yeah, guess what? Your games went with it. It wasn't the fact that they were porting them over. I mean, they could have basically made them digital and made it so that no other system could play them, because you have to have the license or the permission to play those games, or you'd be copyrighting and pirating at the end of the day. But the fact that they did open that door to allow them to use them, yeah. Because truthfully, what's the next system going to cost you, honestly? Some people say it's going to cost under how's it going to cost under $700? Where are you going to get the parts from? You're going to have to build it better than the previous system. That's how it works in console. You can't build it under the system. That's just stupid. You can charge me more money for something you're going to build under. Or the other system, last gen, is going to have better hardware than the next gen. That's not going to work out. They never did that in history. So that means that the system's going to cost more money. And if the system's going to cost more money, then that means sooner or later you're going to be creeping up to a $1,300, $1,400 console system. Which for people who freak out about that, but that's outrageous. Look, man, let me explain something to you. If it were in my era, you were paying that money anyway. Because the Neo Geo was not cheap. Near with the cartridge for it. And if you had an N64, you know how much brand new N64 cartridge would cost. You can get a used one for what you pay for your games now. Like $60. They were like 60, 50. Some were 40, depending on how old they were. But that was the cartridge era. The cartridge era was expensive. But games back then, the Panasonic 3DO and all, they were like $700, $800 systems. And you got to get a couple of games with them on top of that at $60 a pop. So again, that's like $120 right there. So yeah. Yeah, spent already close to about $900 to $1,000. So your system nowadays is more powerful than those systems. You're going to spend you're going to spend roughly for what you've already paid for. And the system right now, everybody keeps saying $700. It's not $700 because you're forgetting the tax. It's higher than that. It's way higher than that. You know how much tax on $700 is today? You can pay $60 for that, maybe 50, maybe $60, and some places even worse than that. So you're talking about roughly about 700, let's say $50, right? Which we know it's going to be more than that because I paid $50 for the 360 for tax, so I know it's going to be worse than that. And then if you want to get a drive with it, which you know you're going to get a drive, because if you have games that are backwards compatibility, and some of those games are not in the store, then guess what that means? You're going to buy the drive. And you know how much money they want for the drive. They want $80 for a freaking drive. And with the tax on that, that's going to roughly reach $100 easy. So now you're going to be at roughly around $850, including where you added the tax one for both of them. Now say you want to stand. Boy, that's going to be a sacrifice feel right there. That's like paying for gas or paying for medication. Either way, it's going to be expensive. So if you get the stand, that's what, $35? Including with tax onto that, maybe $47. So yeah, roughly you didn't hit $1,000, $900 to $1,000 for a system. That's what it adds up to. Everybody keeps saying $700. It's not $700 when you walk out of the store. It's much higher than that. And if you want to get a couple of games with it, whew, yeah, there you go. There you go. So roughly a PC at $600 that can play the games that you have. Again, like I said, on a 20 series graphic card, you have literally bought 2 of them. And at that, this is a machine on a PC that you can interchange your parts at will. Think about that. You can upgrade at will. Everybody's saying, but the parts are so expensive. No, they're not. You're talking about elitist technology equipment at the end of the day. There's 2 categories in this. It's not all elitist. You got standard built. You got budget built. You got the elitist systems that are set up. The ones that are high-end future machines at the end of the day. They spend that kind of money at the end of the day. That's madness. Who the frick would spend that kind of... That's a lot of money at the end of the day. And then on top of that, I mean... Yeah, it's a lot of money at the end of the day. There's so many different graphic cards that you can literally play off. The paramedic, the guy I was talking to, they were taking him to the hospital because I was having the issue of the game. They made my heart rate speed up. We were talking about PCs. He has a 3050. More than enough power to run his games. That's when I got into that whole thing on freaking with we had to think about the PlayStation 4, and somebody said, "Oh, you freaking PC master race. You just sit on the moon with your golden mansions and you cry golden tears." When I heard that, I was crying. It's the funniest thing I heard in my entire life. I built a $500 system designed to be better than the PS4 when it came out. And I built the Steam system when the i7 first came out, 3770 when it first came out. I built that to replace the console system that I had. So showing at the end of the day, it cost me $580 to put together that system. It didn't cost me a lot of money. And I had a liquid cooling system on that sucker too, and touchscreen fan controllers. But the way your console system is going, the next one coming out, the PS6, if they do bring it out, that thing's going to be super expensive. Yep. Super expensive. Now, the other hard part you're going to have with console is if you have a family. If you have a game family you play with, a group of people you play with, you're cool with, y'all play every single day, that's what's going to keep you paying that subscription cost. Because a lot of them, some of them may not have PC, right? They're just on console. So if you switch over to PC, you may lose a majority of your friends. So you're going to stay put. That's what's going to happen. But how long are you going to be able to do this stay put? I had plenty of games on my Xbox system that I converted up to the 360. Lost more for them in the process. So yeah. The thing about it is when people start thinking about the console, they think about just the whole gaming experience, but you have to understand the business side of it, the money side, what makes the money to keep your system flowing. If it gets to a point where they feel that the hardware is costing too much money, as Sega felt, then they're going to basically switch over to third-party support, which they've been doing it since 2020. As for the Xbox has been allowing their games to play on multiple platforms, like your cell phone, your tablets, and all that other stuff. And there's a YouTuber who made a perfectly good example when he said, what's the point of basically buying a handheld Xbox console system when I can play it on my cell phone? Which is true, because why would I? I'm not paying up $400 or $500 for something I can just play. Heck, I can play it on a Steam Deck if I want to. Oh, yeah, that too. Just so you know about that, Sony fanboys, your games are ported to Steam, right? So that means we can play your games on your Steam Deck, right? You can't play ours. We can play yours. Because we got a couple games coming out, and they're not even coming to console. There are 2 major hit games that are coming out, and they already announced they're not going to come to console. Not yet. We'll get them first. Because if I'm going to be a developer, who am I going to develop for? What superior system am I going to develop? There you go, console, right here. Us, at the end of the day. So, with already your exclusive games coming over here. We're not missing anything. We got your stuff. We got their stuff. We got new games. There you go. There you go. Because you know why they're developing for us? Because they found out if consoles basically giving out their exclusive games, their hard to get games, then, you know, we just might just build games for the more superior system, which is going to be PC. Because your games are going to be there anyway. There you go. What's the point, you know? So it just comes down to if they still support the servers for the system, that would be nice. I would like that too, because I want to continue to play on my PS4. Honestly, I really do. But if they don't, then guess what? Well, you're full 100% over on PC. And you fanboys, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. It is. It's going to hurt a lot to be playing on PC. But guess what's going to happen? You're going to like it. You'll fall in love with it. And then you'll become full circle. Technically, you just, when you think about it, right? Honestly, you just come back home. That's what you did. That's what you did. You went out there and did all that wander around, exploring, seeing the world, getting to know yourself, getting to know your surroundings, just to realize that home is right there in front of you the entire time. It just took you some time to get there. And for people saying, what do you mean by that? Well, PC was here first. PC was here first, waiting for the console system. And PC was here. All your games were developed on a PC. Console games are not developed on console. PC games are not developed on console. Your games are developed on PC. You come back home, full circle. And you know what brought full circle in? Your exclusive games got ported over to a PC. There you go. For those you sit there and go, well, you know, that's crazy talk. At the end of the day, Sonic the Hedgehog is the mascot of who? Sega, right? If you were in the era where Sega was big and bold at the time, Sega Master System, all those things, you would have never, ever in a million years seen that hedgehog sitting on top either a PC or even more, a Nintendo system. Ever. Never would have seen that. Because they had a constant war between those two. They were always at war. Nintendo and Genesis were always at war. You never saw it. That's their mascot. Why would it be doing over there? Guess what you can do now when you go on Nintendo? You can play as Mario and freaking the All-Star Racing or whatever the games they got over there. They got them splattered and everything. Yes, they do. Yep, because you know why? Sega got to a point where they said, you know what? We're tired. We're not doing hardware anymore. We're getting out of the console games and we're going to start leasing our games to other companies, which Sony's doing right now. So that's for that, paying the money for that little handheld system to play their games, which is cool and all. But remember, on the Steam Deck, we can play your games because now they're ported over to our system, and Xbox has been ready because it's Microsoft. So we have your games. The only games we don't have is guess who? Nintendo. Because Nintendo didn't do that. Nintendo sat back and watched Xbox and PlayStation war. And they stayed in their little world and was happy with what they have. And they have millions and millions and millions of followers. Nintendo has been out longer. They have a bigger library. Their library is bigger than the Xbox and Sony combined. You know how long? Their collection of games for their Game Boy is a massive. Consider the fact that how many games that came out for the NES and the Super NES. Japanese imports too on top of that, consider those two. They're the only console system that was successful at a handheld system. You know how many different systems the Game Boy, the black and white version, sold? And the other system tried to use a handheld, they failed. So they sat back and watched. The old school giant sat back and watched them war back and forth. And now you think they're going to give out their game? Yeah, right. If I want to go buy I wouldn't buy a PlayStation now, because why would I buy it? If PlayStation never ported their games over to PC, I would have picked up eventually I would have picked up one. If you had a Game Runner that I couldn't get, I'm a gamer at the end of the day, so if you had a Game Runner I couldn't get, I would just go and buckle down and just buy the PlayStation, the PS5. I'd have to buy it. I don't have a choice, because I can't get the game anyplace else. I have to go there to get it, and I want to play that game. So guess what I have to do? I have to pay for the subscription cost along with it. You know why I know that? You see that 11-year-old system sitting over there? There's games on there that I really, really like that I can't find on my PC. Because I know I went through my PC, I tried to find certain games. I found majority, some of them, but not certain ones I couldn't find. And because I like these games so much, you know what I did? I went and I paid for a subscription cost all over again. So I can play those games that I like to play on my console system. Because they didn't port those games over to PC. Because they're really old games, but they didn't port them over. I can't find them. So, guess what? I'll go about now. If those games were over here, I wouldn't pay no $17 for a subscription cost for what? I can play over here with those games. And again, on top of that, on a much more superior system. Now, let's get to Nintendo. Nintendo didn't release their games out. Nintendo's games are on their system. So if you want to go play Nintendo games, the Game Switch or whatever games they have on there, guess what you got to do? You're going to pay for the console system, and you're going to pay for the subscription cost so you can play it. That's what I'm going to do. Because I can't get it anyplace else. And they were smart about that. Yep. Did you see them change out to any new system? They came out this slim version, and this S version, this Scorpion version. All these different versions of freaking console systems. They don't have multiple versions of their console systems. I mean, it's a console and handheld game at the same time. Look how smart that was. And then on top of that, you got to respect them. They stuck to their guns. Everybody had violent games. They said, nope, we're just about family at the end of the day. That's what our games are about. And they have good games on there, too. Amazing games on there. Now, imagine if they decided to bring out the original Bond. Do you think people would jump over on that for that Bond to play that game? And it's not going to be here? Yeah, easy. I'll tell you one thing you would have to worry about if it did come out. If Sega decided to come back, you know how big the Sega fan base is? It's huge. It's bigger than Sony, and it's way bigger than Xbox. I can tell you that much right there. They go way back. If they made an announcement right now that they were going to make a console system, guess what? Bye-bye, PC. Yep. I'm going over there. I'm going to go over there. It's a Sega system. You lost your mind? I'm definitely going over there. Heck yeah. You had so many people drop from Sony and from Xbox, it's not even funny. Sega runs deep, real deep. If they ever announced that they were coming back, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. The only ones who can compete with them side by side is the original fighters. And that would be Nintendo. It's the only one that can get with them. But you're not going to be able to get with them. Sony, you can't get with them. Xbox, you can't get with them. If they come back, yeah, you'd be surprised how many people would leave. You'd be on there like, hello? Anyone here gaming? Anyone? Half an hour later, someone will pop into the room. Hey, what's up? Where's everybody at? Yeah, gaming on the new Saturn system that came out. Or Sega comes out with a new system. Yep, that's the end of that. Yep. Yeah, that's the end of that. Alright, people. I'm going to get on right here. I'm done. I finished my coding. Got a chance to talk about some gaming, have some fun. And this is the first one. Now we got the neon artwork to do, so I got to go online. I got to order a whole lot of neon stuff to start that process, and the LED light tracers to go through this because it's going to activate all this stuff. So yeah, got a lot of work to do. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for your time, for coming in. Yeah, but the Apple comes out with a system. I'm buying it. I got to buy it. This could be epic. On top of that, to have the console system. Even if they do fail, I have a console system of Apple. I'm curious what they come up with. They might do it. They might bring out something pretty good. Who knows? Everybody doubted Sony. When Sony put their hat in the ring about being gaming, what the freak does Sony know about gaming at the end of the day? They make stereos and VCRs. Why Microsoft, on the other hand, people automatically knew because it's Microsoft. But Sony, nah, Sony was basically, they closed the door on Sony before it even started. They didn't think Sony had it. But they came out with that Toshinden. Oh, that game was beautiful. Jumping Jack Flash, that game was beautiful. Sony blew up. All right. Gotta go, people. God bless.